Hey guys, Bugcat7 here. Okay, it is Thursday, April 18, 2019, and I want to thank you for visiting the Stonewall Research channel here on YouTube. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for you taking the time out to watch my videos. I really do appreciate it. And if you could hit the like button, that would be absolutely wonderful. Okay guys, well I got a very interesting video for you today. As you know on my channel I talk about a lot of different things. I specialize in a couple of different things, but I often talk about Velikovsky, the Thunderbolts Project, the electric universe, etc., etc. But I want to talk about these things for a couple of different reasons, because number one, it's one of these World Heritage items things that, are being destroyed, systematically destroyed, and they harken back to a time that we don't understand a lot about. The standard history on it is, a bit dubious. Who knows? It's the timeline and everything else. But just to concentrate on one aspect of these things and talk about it a little bit, and I think is a important thing, because as I said, it's just it's the people in Armenia are getting back at the people in Azerbaijan by destroying all of these mosques and other things in their country, whilst the Azerbaijans are destroying these, Armenian, artifacts that are absolutely beautiful and stunning. I mean, just gorgeous. But we're going to talk about it a little bit. We'll read a little about it. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I've been looking at, all World Heritage sites that are, being destroyed, in one way or another. We talked about the Buddhas at Bamyan in Afghanistan. These are the things we talk about and other related things. So let me just show you these things and how interesting they are and what, they could represent. And here it is. I'm going to focus in on it here. All right, they're called Khachkars. Okay, see me focusing on it a little bit. I don't know, maybe this picture is better. There we go. And it's just these intricately carved crosses, many of them with what they consider a rosette or a sun disk. And I've discussed many times with Clint Steele on the Chronos channel about how these are just, more representations of the toroidal archetype that we see all over the planet, as discussed with, the Thunderbolts Project, such as the Squatter Man, for example. Okay, the Squatter Man is just seen all over the planet in this, almost identical form. And, Velikovsky and David Talbot drew this, conclusion from, trying to represent something. This one you see the Duck Man. Okay, there was representations similar to this at Petroglyph National Monument, which you can see in my series on my channel. Okay, here I'm showing the Stick Man, and I'm referring to, you can barely see it there, but a very strong sun there in June, I believe I was there in 2018. But you can see a lot of these things at Petroglyph National Monument, and I captured the images of everything I could up in the volcanic escarpments. Okay, strange petroglyphs. Another place where I saw another sort of representation of the duck figure, except it was a spearhead instead of a duck. Okay, here I see, we're looking at what I call the flathead guy, but it's just another toroid. okay? But one with a disc in the background. That's why I find this one interesting. You see the two dots as repeated many, many times with the squatter man, right? These two dots is repeated so often with many petroglyphs. And you can see that on Clint Steele's channel. You can see it on the Thunderbolts Project. Those are fulgurites. And this symbol, okay, Symbols of an Alien Sky, which is a Thunderbolts film done by David Talbot, Walt Thornhill, with Anthony Peratt contributing. Okay, and you can see a picture of the solar cross or the sun cross. All right, and that's what this representation is as well. Okay. So let's read a little bit about these Khachkar things. I try to get through it as quickly as possible because, I want to show you some of these things because they're just beautiful. And if nothing, they're just incredible works of art, of stone carving, I think, at its finest. At, times where, people were incredibly skilled. And we just, we've lost that today. Okay, a Khachkar, also known as the Armenian cross stone, is a carved memorial stele bearing a cross, and often with additional motifs such as rosettes, interlaces, and botanical motifs. Khachkars are characteristic of medieval Christian Armenian art. Since 2010, Khachkars, their symbolism and craftsmanship are inscribed in a UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage. And it is intangible, okay? Once it's gone, destroyed, that's it. It's done. Okay, only got pictures of it for what that's worth. The most common Khachkar feature is a cross surmounting a rosette or a solar disc. Okay? So there's a solar disc, okay? And if you don't know anything about the solar disc, okay, we'll talk about it a little bit. All right? A solar symbol is a symbol representing the sun. Common solar symbols include circles with or without rays, crosses, or spirals, okay? In religious iconography, personifications of the sun or solar attributes are indicated by means of a halo or radiant crown. When the systematic study of comparative mythology first became popular in the 19th century, scholarly opinion tended to overinterpret historical myths in iconography in terms of solar symbolism, quote unquote. This was especially the case with Max Muller and his followers beginning in the 1860s in the context of Indo-European studies. Many solar symbols, quote unquote, claimed in the 19th century, such as the swastika, triskel, sun cross, etc., have tended to be interpreted more conservatively in scholarship since the later 20th century, sure, when academia is totally controlled and managed and filtered. All right, guys? That's what they're telling us here, in a sort of roundabout way. You got to read between the lines. All right? I wouldn't trust scholarship since the later 20th century. And not only that, the current archaeologists and anthropologists are taking a new look at myths and starting to take them very seriously, okay, and considering some of them as, depicting fact and not fantasy. Okay, so you have an increasing number of people in the anthropological field and archaeological field that are starting to say, hey, the more we see, the more research we do, the more we dig up and study about peoples and everything else, is starting to give us a different picture of the past. That's starting to go in line with what some mythology, what we believe to be mythology, is turning out not to be. Like Saram said in his book, the city of Troy was considered a mythological place, okay, till they found it. See, that's what happens. Everybody's poo-pooing everything until it's found, and then what? Because those idiots had no business being in that profession, in that discipline. Okay, obviously closed-minded buffoons. Okay, and we have a lot of that still, but it's maybe starting to break. Who knows? With books like starting with Saram's, I think, and ending up like Mann's, and they telling the same stories about the same people who were like, setting back archaeology hundreds of years because of their closed-mindedness and their hard-headedness. They're starting to reconsider everything. So just talk about it a little bit here. The basic element of most solar symbols is the circular solar disk. The disk can be modified in various ways, notably by adding rays found in the Bronze Age and Egyptian depictions of Aten or a cross. In ancient Near East, the solar disk could also be modified by the addition of the uraeus, rearing cobra, and in ancient Mesopotamia it was shown as winged. Okay, so these things could all be representations of either the planetary alignment that Velikovsky, the Thunderbolts Project, was talking about, or these toroidal forms as well. Okay, both. Okay, but here you see the main ideogram for sun, okay, was in the Egyptian religion, was this circle with a dot. All right, so that's what this is. Okay, right? Depicted all around. There's plenty of petroglyphs that have that as well. All right. So, all right. The sun ideogram in early Chinese writing, beginning with the oracle bone script, okay, says 12th century BC, that's pretty far back, also shows the solar disk with a central dot, whence the modern character analogous to the Egyptian hieroglyph. Okay? And that's why Velikovsky has the ideas that he had. That's why David Talbot has, because so far back in time, you're not be depicting the sun at all, but a different kind of planetary setup, because our solar system went nuts. And it probably does it all the time. It's just waiting to do it again, and it happened within the history of the human race and other races of human species on this planet. Okay? So even the Unicode symbol is a circle with a dot. Okay? And they show all the different depictions of it. All right, so back to these things here. And here's what many of them look like. They're just beautiful. Here's some very old ones at this at the Neratis Cemetery. Okay, and they're being destroyed. Okay, here's some like new style ones that are being made, but many of these are ancient. Okay, Lebanon. is just phenomenal. And you can see, there are many of them with the representation of the solar disk underneath. These are sort of modern ones in a side of a building there with the solar disk. It's like a really old one. This one shows Christ on the cross, but there are very few of them with showing the Christ on the cross. Most of them don't. But, Christ is another symbol of the sun. Just magnificent. Look at this one. A lot of symbolism on there. It's a very old one. So you say how beautiful and interesting these things are. And again, I think what you have here is, a representation of a different world, of a different time that, these people knew about and were depicting. And, maybe even later on, they didn't know exactly what they were depicting. They were just following tradition. Okay. So, as I said, they're all endangered and they're going to get destroyed. So, again, just more stuff, more history that we don't completely understand. And it says here a large portion of Khachkars, which were created in historic Armenia, surrounding regions in modern times, have become the possession of Turkey. Okay, did I read that already? I'm not even sure now. Yeah, they're not cataloged and properly photographed. And one source says that the Khachkars are being damaged, neglected, or moved in Armenia. Reasons cited for moving these Khachkars include decoration, to create new holy places, or to make space for new burials. And the government of Azerbaijan has denied claims that members of the Azerbaijani armed forces smashed Khachkars with sledgehammers in Nakhichevan in December 2005. So they deny it, but they're saying they did it. So anyway, guys, just another interesting thing we can relate to the Thunderbolts Project is these incredible steles done by the Armenians of the solar disk, the solar cross or the sun cross, and they're just incredible works of art. And harking back to a time where people had these abilities, and they can't be duplicated today. And you wonder how they were created in that time, so such fine craftsmanship. Could it be that they might be a geopolymer construction? I don't know, but it's interesting to postulate that. I'm sure Sylvia did, I believe, and you might consider that if you believe in that stuff. And It's quite possible. All right, guys. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed looking at these things. It's just beautiful to look at. And again, destruction just is going on all over the planet. Okay, and recently article about Belize where they're accidentally tearing down temples, and a girl from Facebook is a place up in New England where they want to put up a solar farm, and they're going to destroy all the stone walls up there. So, this stuff is just going on today for lots of different reasons, and it's just more continued destruction of the past, of history, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. But at least we talked about it today. In a way, it's sort of interesting and depressing at the same time. I know it's a sort of a weird combination of vibrations there, but all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button. Bugcat7 signing out. Peace.